Hey journeyers, it's me Danny, and I have some tips for you for when you are off the ship and in port. So these are going to be some of your top 10 tips for you when you're in port. So stick around, here we go. Tip number 1, be aware of your surroundings. When you get off the ship and you are in port, be aware of your surroundings. Know what's around, look and see who's around you, because you never want to be taken advantage of and you never want to be caught in something that you don't want to be caught up in. So be aware of your surroundings and know where you're at. Tip number 2, know what you want to do in port before getting off. I can't stress this enough. If you do not have a shore excursion booked through the cruise ship, you need to know what you're going to be doing before you get off the cruise ship. Because if you look like you don't know where you're going, and if you look like you don't know what you're doing, you will get caught up and sucked in by those people who are trying to get you in that port area. There are taxi drivers, people trying to get you to go on an excursion here, people who are trying to get you to buy this and buy that. You need to know exactly what you're going to be doing when you get off. Even if that's like saying, I just want to explore, then that's fine. You don't have to know what you're exploring, but if you know, I want to go off the ship and explore, okay, know that. Don't let them get you caught up with that. If they say, oh, come over here, I want to do this. No, thank you. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. And you keep it moving. That way you're not spending so much money trying to get caught up in something that you don't want to be caught up in. So that is tip number 2. I have my little pad here to read it off to you. And that is, know what you want to do before you get off the ship. Tip number 3, wear comfortable shoes. I'll say it again for the people who did not hear me in the back. Wear comfortable shoes. It is important that you have some shoes that is not going to hurt your feet. There will be times that you'll be walking a lot. Sorry, if you're getting off the ship, you're going to be walking a lot. At least 5,000 to 6,000 steps. At least. It doesn't matter where you're going, what you're doing. So you want to wear some shoes that is very comfortable, and you want to have some shoes with you that won't hurt your feet. So that's tip number 3, wear comfortable shoes. Tip number 4. I've said this tip before in my European cruise tips. I'm going to say it again in this one here. For when you're in port, bring a fan. It is important that you do bring your own fan. I've said it so many times to my friends and to my family, and I know I've said it at least once to you guys. It is hot. Doesn't matter if you're in the Caribbean, doesn't matter if you're in Europe, doesn't matter if you are doing a transatlantic cruise. It's hot. The only place that will not be hot is probably Alaska, so you probably won't need a fan for that. But bring a portable fan, a fan that you can either recharge or it's battery operated, because you're not going to want to be in that heat and in that humidity without something cool blowing on you. It really is a wonder, and it really helps. I've had people tell me when they see me with the fan, like, oh my gosh, you're smart for doing that. I'm like, thank you. You do that for yourself next time too, and you'll be thanking yourself. So bring a fan. Tip number 5 is another tip that I've said previously before, and that is to bring a battery pack off the ship with you when you are in port. You need to have a charger for your phone. Even if you have your phone already charged up to 100%, even if you already have your phone charged up to 100%, it doesn't hurt to have a backup in case you need to charge your phone again. The one thing that you don't want to have happen to you is to be in port stuck without a phone and you have a dead battery. It will be the worst thing that could ever happen to you, because you won't know the time and you won't know where you're at. So make sure you bring a battery pack. You'll thank yourself later. Tip number 6, when you are in port, is to bring small bills. I know that you've heard people tell you that before, is to bring small bills, but it's very true. Bring small bills when you're in port. Doesn't matter what port you're at, just make sure that you have small bills. You can bring big bills too, but make sure you have small as well, because there might be times where they will not give you change back. All I have is a 20. And they'll be like, all right, I have no change. and then you're out of a 20 and you're only supposed to spend 5. So bring small bills. It's very important for you to have when you are out in the port. Number 7 is to be aware of the time. Most cruise ships give you a total of 6 to 8 hours out on the, 6 to 8 hours in port. However, you still need to be aware of your time. I know that's a lot of time in port, but it is important for you to be aware of your time and know where and what you're doing, because you don't want to be left behind. When we got off in the British Virgin Islands, we got off at 11. We didn't have to be back on the cruise ship until 1:30, but I was aware of the time. So when they tried to make us do a tour island for 2 hours, I said, no, that's not going to work. We're going to need an hour, because you don't want to cut it too close and be left behind. I think that's the worst thing that can ever happen to a person, is that they are on an island or they're at a port and they are not aware of what time it is, and they think they have more time than what they actually have and get left behind. Can you imagine being stuck in another country and most of your belongings is back on board on the ship? You don't want that to happen to you. I know I don't. So be aware of your time, all right? Tip number 8 is to make sure that you have a great international phone plan, because you're gonna need to use your cell phone, whether you think you do or not. You wanna be able to call or text back home or FaceTime, or you wanna be able to check emails or something like that. If you have a good international plan through your phone company, then you don't have to worry about that. I have Sprint, so whenever I'm in an international country, it's about 10 cents per minute to make a phone call, but my data and text messaging is free. So you want to be sure that you have a good international plan, like I do. It helps out that you do have one. And also, I had to use my phone for GPS when I was out in another country. So make sure you have a good phone plan when you're traveling and in port. Number 9, tip number 9 is to try something new. What are you traveling for if you're never going to try anything new? Traveling is for you to try new things and be able to be spontaneous and adventurous and do something you've never done before in your life. And this is the time to do it. So when you're in port, don't do the same thing that you did before at another port or at that same exact port. Try something new, branch out. You'll be surprised by what you do and how much fun it will be if you just try something new. So that's my tip, is when you're in port, try something new, try something you've never done before. And our final tip for tips and tricks when you are in port is to have fun. Make sure that whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, that you're having fun. This is your vacation. This is your opportunity to be able to let your hair down, to just glow and flow, and just have a grand old good old time. So make sure wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, that you're having fun. Do the best that you can to make sure that you are having fun. It's your life. Enjoy it. So these have been my tips and my tricks for what to do when you're in port on a cruise ship or when you're traveling. These are some tips for you. There's a lot more. I'm so sure that there are a lot more. And if you have some tips and if you have some different things that you think would help out, comment below and let me know. I love to hear from you. So until next time, I need you to like, share, and tell a friend you're watching Journeys with Danny. Ciao.